Views and opinions expressed by the guests and contributors on Conklin and Company are not necessarily those of 13ABC. Now, Conklin and Company continues with Take 3, commentary and analysis from our panel of political contributors.
Welcome back, everyone. Take 3 returns after a couple of weeks hiatus with a couple of contributors, stalwarts here on Conklin and Company, London Mitchell from Cumulus Radio and Tom Troy from the Toledo Blade. The mayor's race is on, although it has not been. We're not into the real crunch time of the political season just yet. We're getting closer, and with that, endorsements starting to trickle in, Tom. Right. What you feel is kind of a surprising one, maybe a little bit of a surprise this week. Tell us about it.
Well, it was the Fire Chiefs Association. Of course, Mike Bell was a fire chief for 17 years in the city of Toledo. So not hugely surprising, if anybody even thought about it very much. It's a very small union, 21 members. They endorsed Bell, but they gave him a chance to say some things, and they said some things that help posture him in the way he's going to want to be going into this election when people really start paying attention. Yeah. I saved us from a crisis in 2009. We were facing a $48 million deficit. If we had not made those tough decisions that fire chiefs have to make, we'd be heading down the road that Detroit is towards bankruptcy.
Yeah, a mess up there. London, I mentioned a little bit of a surprise, but on the surface you look, fire chiefs going to endorse a fire chief, an old fire chief, right?
I would think so. I think, and I don't think there's any surprise in AFSCME, AFL-CIO, supporting Anita Lopez. We've mentioned that probability several times.
One we're waiting on, the firefighters union themselves, and this is an interesting one because you have Local 92. That, as endorsements go, and maybe there's not as much emphasis on those anymore, but as they go, this one is a big one, wouldn't you say, for Mike Bell?
Well,
and Anita Lopez.
I think he had the pretty much all the safety unions 4 years ago. His support of issue 2, coming after his the exigent circumstances, if you remember that, was a real stick in the eye for these guys, and they're just not going to support him. Local 92 was one of the most outspoken unions in the state against issue 2 in 2011. So they're going to put all their support, I think, behind Anita Lopez. Well, here I am predicting Anita Lopez. It's really going to be whoever wins the Democratic nomination, and or rather, again, it's not a Democratic nomination, but whoever comes through the primary that's not Mike Bell. We're looking at either Anita Lopez or Joe McNamara.
Who says, what about me? He's waiting. It's been a couple of minutes. We haven't mentioned him yet.
He feels he has a pretty strong case. If you talk to him, you'd come away thinking, yeah, he is a contender for this thing.
Yeah, London, Joe McNamara, making some waves, so to speak, about the Ravine Park pool situation this week that Tom wrote about.
And is this posturing for the mayoral campaign, or is this really a reflection of something really deeper, and that's the friction between the city council and the mayor? They are not working in harmony lately. No. And we were talking just a little bit ago, Tom and I, that the mayor has a tendency to strike off on his own without waiting for council to counsel him.
Right. Well, but that's, he makes no apologies for that. That's the way it is. That's the way it is. I mentioned the pool issue. Let me ask you this, Tom. You wrote the story about the Ravine Park pool. Right. Would that have been a story had Joe McNamara not been running for mayor? Is that a story going to be in the paper?
Well, it was almost the same story was in the paper a year ago. Mike Craig, who was involved with Joe in this news conference a couple days ago, led a rally a year ago to save this very same pool. So it's not really a surprise that they were going to knock it down, but it came out of nowhere in the sense that Mike Craig is complaining, hey, we're council, we should be brought in on these things. There should have been a community meeting to discuss it one more time. So it's kind of emblematic of the issue that's going to be brought against Mike Bell, which is that he has a tendency to make decisions, and he gets accused of not respecting council's role.
We had the Save Our Trees flap not long ago, right? Within the last week or two. Does it speak to the same thing, London?
I think it does, but then I think Mike might have a different, Mike Bell might have a different image of himself as what the role of mayor is, and he fancies himself a leader, and he's going to take the lead and make those decisions that he thinks are appropriate for the mayor to make.
Now, as the leader, he is the strong mayor. He's a strong
Right,
mayor form of government, right? Let's go national or international, if you will, and talk about this NSA situation. Edward Snowden, still don't know exactly where he is and what he could face. But as that goes, we had the Justice Department and the Associated Press, and we had the IRS and the conservative groups and the Tea Party groups in tax-exempt status. So the question is, where are we in terms of right to privacy and the government getting involved, huh?
Well, these controversies, scandals, if you will, have been coming so fast and furious. You know, to allude to another Republican or scandal involving alleged scandal involving the Obama administration, been coming so fast that we haven't really had a chance to digest and draw the lessons from each one of them. We had the Benghazi question.
Right. Did
Obama mislead the public by claiming that this was the result of a you know, some kind of a rally over a video? Then, even before we're done with that, we're into the IRS picking on the conservative groups over their tax exemption applications. Before that's even concluded, we've got disclosures that the NSA and different agencies are snooping on our telephones and our email accounts, social media.
Well,
it's all public anyway, so.
Right. We don't have much time. London, I want you to speak to that. And also concerns over getting involved in Syria, the rebel forces there. That is an absolute mess over there.
As I mentioned on the air, I think that is potentially the biggest story of the year. If we go ahead and supply military supplies to Syrian rebels, that puts us on one side of the issue. We already know that Russia, China, Iran, they're supporting the Assad regime. What we've got happening is a war of surrogates, and that troubles me. I think history would say that these kinds of wars have a tendency to really spill out and get much bigger over time.
An interesting situation. It is not summer vacation for the Obama administration right now.
That's right.
A lot on the plate. Thanks, guys. Have a great Sunday. Happy Father's Day to all. Take care.